Happy holidays, everybody, from us here at Rest and Reason. This is our holiday special where we're going to be going over 8 different board games that are at the top of our board games. These are our greatest of all times, our golden recliners without any fixes. They are the games that I would say that if you bought this, you wouldn't be making a mistake, basically no matter who you are. That being said, I will say, you should never buy a game based off of just these kinds of list videos. You should either go out and play the game at some point if you can, and if you can't, you should watch my video, personally, I think that, on these games, and then you should go watch a second opinion, so that you get a full view of the game, and so that you understand fully what you're buying, so it's right for you or for whoever you're getting the game for this holiday season. Let's go ahead and go into my first one, Space Lion. Now, Space Lion just got funded on Kickstarter, and it is an amazing head-to-head battle game where you are going to be putting your wits against another person, but it is always this amazingly fun thought process of, what are they going to do? Because even though it's all strategy, that strategy involves predicting what the other person's going to do. And it can play up to 4 players, which makes it even more bonkers and difficult and hard to strategize and play. And it just makes the game incredibly exciting and incredibly strategic. So I would highly recommend that you check out this video and learn more about Space Lion if that sounds like a fun head-to-head game for you or for somebody else that you love. Next up, we're going to be looking at Trekking Through History, which is my choice for thoughtful family game. Now, family games are for children 10 years old and anybody past that. The reason I don't include people under 10 is because it involves some level of reading or math or thinking that just would be a little bit too much. It's also probably not as good for people who are super ADHD and need a game that's just going to be, whoa! That's going to be talked about later in this video. But Trekking Through History offers a thought puzzle that can both be really good for a kid, where a kid can accomplish parts of the thought puzzle, feel like they're accomplishing a goal, and having fun without maybe winning, but yet still challenging themselves and having fun and doing something. Meanwhile, parents are going to be able to have a really hard time mastering this game because it's a really well-designed piece of game. And it's very difficult to do the things in this game that as an adult you might say, hey, I want to do that. This game provides a wonderful thought puzzle while still having some great energy to it. You feel like you're Mr. Peabody and Sherman going through history together. And that's just an exciting adventure for the whole family. So if you want to know more, go ahead and click on that link in the description. Next up, we have Welcome To. Now, Welcome To is my choice for family board game with energy. Now, not energy like, ah! Energy like, ah. You see, too many family board games are actually focused on ADHD people or energetic people, but half of the population, I would say probably past 35 and up, are more likely to be passive. And to be honest, a lot of us younger people, even younger kids, sometimes like to just chill out and not have everybody yelling and going crazy. Welcome To allows for up to 100 players to play a game that's peaceful and wonderful and fun and beautiful, and yet still child-friendly. And honestly, anybody can feel like they have a chance of winning this game. Even though they might not win it, they can all feel like they've done something, that they've accomplished something. And the energy of peace that comes over your whole group and of thoughtfulness is just palpable. So if you want to know more, go ahead and click on that link right up there in the description. Next up, we're going to talk about the exclusive game for this video, Lucia. Now, I mean exclusive as in it's the first time I've covered it. It has been covered by other people. So let's go ahead and talk about what Lucia is as a game and why I love it as much as I do. In general it feels like Solitaire, but better. That's the best way to describe it. In main mechanic, it's just about putting together a pattern, moving things around so that a certain pattern is reached. Now, in theme, I am going to say that this game is not real thematic. It's supposed to be about the Lights Festival of St. Lucia in Sweden, but to be honest, most of the mechanics don't really do anything about the theme. It's really only the art, and yes, I will say, the art does a really cute and beautiful job capturing the essence of these cute little parades that they do with children, but it's not really about that. It's about just moving around cards. So, with that said, with that little caveat, let's go right into what's so great about this game. So first off, you're going to be moving Lucia here up to the front of this huge line of kids. You can't even see the end of the line that direction, and you'll see in a minute how long this is and how big of a task. You're moving the 3 star boys, these blue boys, back to the back of the line, which is also incredibly difficult because some of them are all the way on that side. And on top of all of this, you have to light all of the candles, including all 5 on her head, to actually win this game. All of this while making sure these gingerbreads don't get next to Starboys and don't move over top of people with candles. Now note, these guys do not have candles. They have lanterns, so it's fine if they move over them. But anybody else, when they walk by, they're not very careful. They're clumsy. They blow them out. Ooh, not good. Not good at all. So, let's go ahead and bring Lucia to the front. Like I said, it's a long way. It's a lot of work. Now, real quick, there's one last rule that I saved for up here. You cannot have this star boy, or any star boy, next to a gingerbread. So I actually have to move this over 1, as the rules dictate. And for the rest of the game, if I ever want to move him next to her or any other star girl or boy, I cannot do it. This makes it very difficult to get star boys all the way to the other side without getting them next to these guys ever. Very difficult. So, you're doing all of this by using a hand of 3 cards. These 3 cards are going to have various different symbols on them. You are going to have single colors that you can move, a single person, 3 spaces, 2 spaces for either 2 people or 4 spaces for 1 person, and then a wild, which can be used for any color. And then there are actually cards that also allow you to move just 2 of the colors. Finally, you have the lighting cards, which might be considered some of the most important, where you can light the people next to either a red person or sometimes the card will be for a yellow person. So, they're incredibly simple cards that are very easy to read. There's one other complicated one that I'm not going to explain in this video, but that is very fun to think through when you actually start playing this game. This game is super thinky, but also, despite being super thinky, it's still very relaxing. Again, it feels a lot like Solitaire. The difference is that in Solitaire, you never know anything about anything that's coming up really, or when it's coming up basically. And sometimes there's not even a way to win. In this game, from what I can tell, there is always a way to win. You always know that the deck of cards isn't going to change. These are the cards you're going to have. You only lose if you run out of these. So you know that every game you have the possibility to use all of these cards to do your job. And yet, it's still super adaptive strategy as well. Not just tactics of you can plan ahead, but you have to adapt to where these people are, to what cards you're getting right now, even though you know what cards are coming. Possibly. It is an amazing start for a solo game. I would say that if you don't really have a group, or you know somebody who doesn't have a group, get them this game. It's going to be a fun puzzle that they can do when they have a couple minutes, when they have 15 minutes to just set up game quick and go, during break or whatever. And it's actually even more fun, I found, at 2 players. With 2 players, you're having this close conversation and you're really bonding over this puzzle and how to do it. Me and my sister, who is not a gamer at all, she hates games, loved this. Liked it so much she said she's going to keep playing it until she wins. And that was just warmed my heart, and it was super exciting, and it was so much fun to play the game with her. And it was so difficult that she still hasn't won despite playing it a couple times. And for a solo game, this one's also incredibly versatile because you can play with up to 6 players. And the more players you play with, the harder it gets, which makes it even more fun, because if you play it by yourself and you're like, oh, this is too easy, you can just go find more people to make it more difficult, because it's going to get more difficult with more people. It is a fantastic solo game, and I would highly say that you should go and buy this and fund this on Kickstarter. Next up, Smallworld. I've talked ad nauseum about Smallworld, but let me just boil it down to why this game is the one I choose of war games. It's not because it's the crunchiest. It's not because it's the most battle-iest. It's none of those things, because I love crunchy and heavy and big battle games. But you know what I've found? You don't get to play those very often, because no new players really want to play big crunchy battle games. No kids want to play big crunchy battle games. So for the most part, you're just playing them alone. This game, you'll never play alone. Kids will really love it because it's just fun, exciting, and simple. Adults will love it for the same reasons. And you will actually, if you let yourself, love it because it is such a good puzzle. It's a real crunchy, yummy puzzle that really is difficult to master. And it's part of the deception of this game that, oh, it's just zany and fun and simple and stupid. No, this game is serious business and very difficult. I will leave you with one final note. My mom, who does not like battle games at all, raves about this game. Every time I mention it in a video or talk about, oh, I'm going to be doing a Smallworld video, she's like, oh, I love that game. That's such a good game. That right there is why this is the war game that every person should have, because every person is going to enjoy it. So go ahead and click on this link and watch my video on Smallworld. It will give you more details and a fun little skit to explain how great this game is. Next up, we're going to be looking at A Fake Artist Goes to New York. A Fake Artist Goes to New York is my choice for party game. It's a 5 to 10 player game. It's super small. It's very high player count, and it's super duper simple. All you're doing is drawing, and by that I mean drawing a singular line of a picture to try to make sure that somebody doesn't realize what you're drawing, but everybody still knows that you know what's going on. So it's a social deduction game, and it's a drawing game. It's really more just social deduction. But unlike most social deduction games, if you don't want to lie, or you don't want to play the game with this secret that you can't keep, this game actually does a really good job building in that people won't want to make you do that. So the people who want to be the person who's hidden are usually the ones who get to be hidden. And the people who don't get to play a normal game where they get to not be hidden. So it works for everybody. And the person in charge is still playing the game. They can win or lose, which again makes it fun. It's just an amazing party game, and I've actually described it with very little energy. This game has so much energy to it. It's just one of those games where everybody's pointing at each other, and they're using evidence and logic to try to say, that person doesn't seem like they know what they're doing. And at the end of every mystery, you're like, oh, it was obvious the whole time what they were drawing, or it was obvious the whole time they were the fake. So go ahead and click on this link if you want to know more about A Fake Artist Goes to New York. Next up, we have Flick 'em Up. Flick 'em Up is the game for kids. But it's not just the game for kids. Let's be honest, it's the game for adults. It's a game for that adult who just won't sit down. Sit down, dang it! It's an amazing game because its theme and its mechanics. A lot of times with dexterity games, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Why are we stuffing a pig full of hamburgers? Like, why? Why is that happening? This game, you don't ask that. You go, oh, I set up a little town with cowboys, and I shoot bullets at them. And it's so much fun. And it can play with so many groups. It can be 2-player. It could be a toy that your kid just plays with, to be honest. It is absolutely perfect for kids and adults to think through this puzzle of where to put their guys, how to flick, how to get that angle, how to kill that guy. So much fun. So go ahead and click on this link if you want to know more about Flick 'em Up. Last, but certainly not least, Canvas. Canvas beat all of these other games by at least 0.6 points. It is a 4.85 out of 5, which is ridiculous. I can't even believe that it got that high of a score, legitimately. I like this game, and I still couldn't believe it got that high of a score. And the reason is simple. This game mixes theme of being an artist, creating a masterpiece, with thought, where every game is just such a big puzzle that you could even ignore the theme entirely and still have fun trying to figure out the puzzle. Or you could ignore the puzzle entirely and just focus on the theme and how you're making an art piece. And that's the last thing. This game is going to please everybody. The older person who's a little nervous about playing the game, they can just have fun looking at beautiful things and making beautiful things. The ADHD kid who's barely able to sit down is going to be able to make a dog getting attacked by these giant meteorites. And who cares if they won or lost? They had fun making a dog getting blown up by meteorites. The people who love thinking through the game can puzzle and not even notice they had an art piece that doesn't make any sense. And when they show it to everybody, everybody laughs because it's just nonsense. And then you can have somebody who's super artsy-fartsy who's just like, I made a beautiful painting. This is called Depression of Love, and it really captures my soul. It's just nonsense. In the best possible way. Everybody should have this game or get it for their friend or family member, because it is legitimately the best game I have had on my channel, period. And if you want to know more about why, this video right here is entirely about Canvas and just how great it is. For those who are in the board gaming community, please comment on this video, not for my sake, but for the sake of those people who don't know as much about board gaming. So they know, oh, okay, here's some of the things that I didn't show that's not so great about these games. Or, if you love these games, shout out which one you love. So that way they know, oh, 100 people love Smallworld along with RP. Maybe there's something to this Smallworld game. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you all have a wonderful holiday season, that you and your families can go out and enjoy board gaming together, and I hope that these games will help you all enjoy it more. And please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. Please just enjoy our channel and keep coming back so that we can keep hearing from you. We love hearing from you. And if you really want to support this channel, especially now in this holiday season when it's always a little crimped on money, please go over to our Patreon, help support us, and also I really look forward to being able to give some of the benefits that I have over there on this Patreon page to people. So I would love to have conversations and things with you that enrich our lives and our board gaming experience. And as always, thank you so much for joining us today on Rest and Reason.